You've probably heard that before the Spanish came, Filipinos were uncivilized. No culture, no system, just scattered tribes. But that's wrong. Long before Magellan's ship ever reached our shores, the islands that would become the Philippines were already living and thriving in well-organized communities called the barangay. Each barangay had its own leader, typically called a datu, its own laws, and even a form of justice system. It wasn't chaos, it was order, just not the kind colonizers were used to. Who could forget one of the most famous datus in the Philippines, Lapu-Lapu, the fearless chieftain of Mactan who stood his ground and became the first Filipino hero to resist colonization. And yes, people could read and write. Our ancestors used Yin, a beautiful pre-Hispanic writing system. We were literate. We had structure. We had an identity. Oh, and women? They weren't just housewives. In pre-Hispanic times, women held important roles in society. They were healers, priestesses, leaders, weavers, and even warriors. We weren't behind, we were just different. While Europe was still figuring out the map, the islands of the Philippines were already part of a vibrant trade network. From the 10th to the 14th centuries, the Philippines experienced major political, economic, and cultural progress. We had active trade routes with China, India, and other Southeast Asian countries, with China having an extensive trade network from as early as the 9th century. Now, let's talk about gold. The amount of gold that was dug up in the Philippines from that era was staggering solid proof of a rich material culture that thrived at least 300 years before the Spanish arrived. Ancient Filipinos were master goldsmiths crafting pieces that showed not just skill in science and metallurgy, but also reflected their politics, beliefs, and identity. In fact, when Spanish explorers landed in the 1500s, they were shocked. One even noted, pieces of gold the size of walnuts and eggs are found by sifting the earth in the island. It's easy to think our story began with colonization, but the truth is, it started long before that. Our ancestors built communities guided by wisdom, crafted beauty from gold and nature, and lived with values many modern societies strive for today, such as balance, equality, resilience, and respect. We weren't waiting to be discovered. We already were something. And now, we get to reconnect with that story, not with anger, but with pride. Because knowing where we truly come from gives us the power to shape where we're going. So if you're proud of our roots, our brilliance, and the culture that's always been here, share this. Tag a fellow Filipino and follow for more stories worth remembering.